No doubt, the success, if not survival, of any organization depends on solid management, but management often focuses on the near term for the organization, as opposed to the more distant future. Every leader must make effective management decisions to deal with day-to-day issues, but the wise leader knows that they must also spend some time each day considering the following questions. Where will my organization be in a year or more? What must we begin doing now that we may not see fully implemented for a long time in order to deal with the emerging environment? The study of leadership is as old as time. Some have argued that it began with Plato, Sun Tzu, or Machiavelli, but it has only been a focal point in contemporary academic programs for roughly the last 2 or 3 decades. Leadership studies concentrate on creating a vision for organizations, motivating groups to maximum performance, and developing trust. The essence of leadership is devoted to the continuous development of both people and organizations to deal with change. General Eric Shinseki, former Chief of Staff of the U.S. Army and Secretary of Veterans Affairs, once remarked, "If you don't like change, you are going to like irrelevance even less." Effective leaders in the past have sought to learn as much as possible from history, disasters as well as triumphs. The Greek historian Polybius, who wrote about the Roman Republic, expressed this point well. "There are 2 roads to the reformation for mankind," he observed. "One through misfortunes of their own, the other through the misfortunes of others. The former is the most unmistakable, the latter the less painful. The knowledge gained from the study of true history is the best of all educations for practical life." Centuries later, Otto von Bismarck, Chancellor of Germany's Second Reich during the late 19th century, agreed on the practical value of history for leaders. "Fools say they learn by experience," said Bismarck. "I prefer to profit by other people's experience." Those who desire to be among the best contemporary leaders must draw on historical examples if they want to avoid the mistakes of the past. That's why this book focuses on what is arguably the most important battle in American history. In these chapters, we hope to examine critical leadership challenges faced by both commanders and soldiers at the Battle of Gettysburg. The concepts and principles they applied during those traumatic 3 days remain invaluable and applicable to contemporary leaders because they illustrate the dynamics of people leading people. A battle is a crisis and a deadly competition between 2 rival organizations with conflicting missions. As one of the largest battles ever fought on the North American continent, the Battle of Gettysburg demanded that the leaders of the competing armies make critical leadership decisions under enormous pressures of time and circumstances. The fate of the nation hung on the outcome. Approximately 163,000 Union and Confederate soldiers were decisively engaged during 3 days of fighting, July 1st through 3rd, 1863. On July 2nd alone, more than 15,000 soldiers were killed or wounded in approximately 6 hours. This is nearly 3 times the number of killed and wounded the United States would suffer during the D-Day landings at Normandy on June 6, 1944. By the morning of July 4th, 1863, Independence Day, roughly 25% of the soldiers in the Union Army of the Potomac and 1 of every 3 soldiers in the Confederate Army of Northern Virginia had been killed, wounded, or captured. Gettysburg provides not only a superb opportunity to examine organizations under enormous stress, but also the decision-making and leadership skills of several well-known military officers: Robert E. Lee, James Ewell Brown Jeb Stuart, James Longstreet, George Gordon Meade, Daniel Sickles, and John F. Reynolds, as well as less famous leaders who played crucial roles at Gettysburg, such as Union Colonel Strong Vincent and Confederate General Richard Ewell. There are over 1 million visitors annually to the Gettysburg battlefield due to its importance in the American Civil War and the history of the United States. The victory at Gettysburg was, unquestionably, of enormous significance in Union efforts to end the rebellion, preserve the nation, and set a course for the nation's future. As a result, many historians refer to the battle as the high water mark of the Confederacy. If Robert E. Lee and his troops had been